Hi, Gus and I are here for Mandy. It would be really chapter 13, and it is now summertime. Oh, Gus was standing on his head, and now he just fell over. He wanted to stand on his head today and show you his tail. Oh, come here, Gus. Well, there's our picture of summer. It's summer in the garden. So, chapter 13. It became obvious to Mandy that Sue definitely had the sulks. Mandy knew the cause of the trouble. She and Sue were usually very close, but since the discovery of the cottage, Mandy had seen less and less of her friend, and at times she had been quite rude about wanting to be alone. It was a bad situation. One evening, Sue said bitterly, "You're always going out by yourself. We never do anything together anymore." Mandy tried to placate her, but Sue mumbled, "I just know you're up to something. I'll find out one day. You'll see." The trouble was that Mandy became to feel very resentful. At first she tried to tolerate the other girl's mood, but as time went by she felt herself getting more irritated, and that didn't help matters at all. One day things really came to a head. Mandy had planned to spend a quiet hour at the cottage. Her plants were budding now and showing spots of color. With summer approaching, there was always something new in the garden or the clearing. Mandy thought she had been unobserved as she climbed the wall, but just as she came down from the apple tree, she heard a scuffling noise from the other side. Before she could hide, to her absolute horror, Sue appeared at the top of the wall and gazed down at her. "Hello, what are you doing?" she asked. Sue was smiling triumphantly, and Mandy knew that she was deliberately following her. She felt sick with anger, and it was with an effort that she managed to keep her voice light. Oh, nothing. I'm just looking around." She wasn't going to give Sue the satisfaction of seeing that she was in any way disturbed by her presence. If she could just act casually, as though nothing bothered her, maybe Sue would get bored and leave her alone. "You're not supposed to go over there." "I know," said Mandy, "but you do things you're not supposed to do sometimes. I'll come back over, though." She started to climb the tree, but Sue said, "No, I'll come down too. It'll be fun." "But you're not supposed to. You just said." Mandy had an edge to her voice. "We'll get into awful trouble." She tried to sound concerned, and indeed she was concerned, but she was concerned for a different reason. If Sue came into the woods, she didn't know how to stop her from exploring and discovering the cottage too. "Oh, phooey," Sue was saying. "It'll be an adventure." Sue climbed down the apple tree. "Hey, isn't it super over here?" Mandy wanted to hit out and push Sue away. Never had she felt so angry. She considered climbing back over the wall to the orphanage and just leaving Sue alone. Maybe without her, Sue would give up any idea she had of looking around. But what if she went off by herself and discovered the cottage anyway? It was better to stay and try to avert disaster. "Let's explore," said Sue. "No, it might be dangerous," Mandy said in a loud voice. "Well, I'm going to anyway." Sue started out. "Oh, all right." Mandy pretended to give in. "But I'm going this way," she said firmly, and turned to the left onto a small track instead of following the bigger path to the cottage. It was the only thing she could think of to do. Sue stopped. "Why?" she asked. "I don't know. It looks more exciting, and there could be people on the main path. This way we won't be discovered." Mandy walked on, praying that Sue would follow her. After a moment's hesitation, the other girl ran to catch up with Mandy. Mandy found herself trembling with relief. She strode out briskly, tight-lipped and furious. She wanted to get as far away from the cottage as possible. The track kept parallel with the big wall. Both girls were silent as they walked. Mandy knew that Sue sensed her mood. The other girl was sullen and had an almost defiant air. There was not much to say. "Must you walk so fast?" Sue said. I'm sorry you wanted to explore, Mandy replied, but she slowed down a little. Somehow she would have to check her anger. She didn't dare antagonize Sue too much. The wood became less dense. It was obvious that the path was getting wider. A few hundred yards further on, it was joined by two other paths coming in at right angles to theirs. The really interesting fact was that all the paths led to a large wrought iron gate which was set into the wall. Mandy was immediately interested. She wandered over to look at it and noted that the main road passed just a few yards beyond. She saw a padlock on the gate and then her heart missed a beat. But it wasn't locked. Sue, come and look at this, Mandy said. The gate didn't move. Mandy put all of her weight into it and it slowly swung wide open. Golly! Sue was almost as interested as Mandy. Be careful, Mandy. Don't go out until you're sure there's no one that can see us. The girls peeked out. Not a soul was around. They emerged and they carefully swung the gate to a close behind them. And there's a picture of the gate and the two girls. Well, I'll leave that there for you while I read the next page. The girls, this is the road that leads back to the orphanage. Sue seemed surprised. I know, said Mandy. She was delightedly aware of the fact. If the gate could remain unlocked, and she could see no reason why it couldn't, then this was exactly the new way to the cottage she'd been hoping for. This would mean no more sneaking into the orchard when people weren't looking. No more fear of discovery. Now she could really leave the orphanage in full view of everyone, as though indeed she were going off on some errand. She could then sneak through the gate and double back to the cottage. Mandy smiled. Things were going to be much easier from now on. I wonder where those other paths lead to, Sue was saying. Oh, Mandy, let's go there again one day and explore. It was fun. Perhaps, said Mandy. It was too late now to get to the cottage, and since she was almost thankful to Sue for having unwittingly helped her, she linked arms with her friend, and they spent the rest of the day together. For the first time in ages, they enjoyed themselves, and the hostility of the recent past faded away, for the time being at least. So, today, here's the bunny for today, and Sue followed Mandy today over the apple tree and over I keep saying fence, but it's not a fence, the brick wall, and she hopped over that. But Mandy was able to lead Sue on another path away, and while she was leading her on the other path, they found a gate and an easier way for Mandy to get to the cottage, so she didn't have to keep climbing the apple tree and get over the wall. So even though Sue aggravated her so much and she was so angry at her, she wanted to hit her, she is kind of glad for Sue, because if Sue didn't do that, Mandy would have never found the other easier way to get to the cottage. So today what I want you to write about is I want you to write about a time. Was there ever a time when you were so angry at someone? And tell me about the time when you were so angry at someone. What happened? What made you so angry? And then did it end in a good way like it did for Mandy? Or did it not end in a good way? So tell me all about a time when you were angry with someone. And then I will see you tomorrow, for which will be chapter 14 of Mandy. And then it's going to be July already. So have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.